For me, Guinness hasn't really been a favorite beer, a go-to beer so far, but the other week I made a video about non-alcoholic beers and Guinness actually ended up in the top 3. So I thought, let's give Guinness another go and also see how the non-alcoholic Guinness holds up to the regular one in a blind test. Let's go. Guinness, and I also have a strange bonus on the table. So this is the regular Guinness, 4.2% ABV. This is the non-alcoholic version, 0.0% ABV. And this is what I think is an exclusive Swedish version, 3.5% ABV. And that is because of the special alcohol laws in Sweden. Up to 3.5% ABV is allowed to be sold in regular supermarkets. Stronger than that, and you need to go to the special state-owned alcohol monopoly stores called Systembolaget. So that will also be interesting if I can notice the difference between 4.2 and 3.5% ABV. But now my son will help me pour the beers, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back and it's a nice smell in here now. That typical bread yeasty aroma you get when you haven't had beer in a long time, and especially when you're hungry. So I'll just start sniffing them one by one. Yeah, immediately that sweet and roasted aroma also makes me think of black berries. Not blackberries maybe, but black dark berries. Right, drier, more roasted. Number 3 is maybe the most creamy, kind of like a creamy texture in the aroma, if you can express it like that. Yeah, not sure if you can guess from the aroma alone, but number 2 has in some ways the most vivid aroma. It's almost a bit savory as well. So just from smelling them, number 2 smells the most, then number 1, and lastly number 3. And maybe that won't correlate to the taste at all, but maybe that can indicate something. But since number 3 kind of smelled the least, but also invitingly creamy, I think we'll start with this one, see how it tastes. Slanje, cheers, skål. Right now, that was really nice. I haven't eaten or been drinking anything for many hours. It started out light, almost watery, but still with this creamy texture, of course, because of the widget, I guess, the gas. Then after a while you got the roasty parts, a bit of bitterness as well. Caramel, almost butterscotch, was kind of the first flavors I got. A bit of zesty qualities, almost moving into kind of orange marmalade, just hints of it. Now this is the first beer of the evening, so I might find more things than I will later in the evening. So we'll see how this lines up in the end when I've tasted all 3 beers. But I think my first guess would be that this is the non-alcoholic one. Then number 1 again, see if there has appeared any more aromas. Hard to say actually, maybe slightly more savory, but I can't smell much at all. So let's taste it instead. Slanje, cheers, skål. I noticed a lot less than I thought. Maybe it actually was even more light. You know, when I tried the non-alcoholic Guinness the last time, it was almost like a taste explosion, but my expectations was totally different back then, and I've tried many non-alcoholic beers before the Guinness, but now I'm not sure. This is, I think, a bit more roasted, or somehow it feels drier, not the same caramel notes, not as zesty either. It feels like this has less alcohol than number 3, now that I can compare them. Okay, I'm getting more and more unsecure about everything. Maybe this is the non-alcoholic then. And number 3 was something else. Maybe the 3.5. Okay, number 2, new aromas. This has definitely the most impactful aroma. The most savory notes. Also, I get almost like milk chocolate in here as well. Apart from the dark berries and the coffee, maybe it's because this is the only Guinness glass I have. It brings out the aromas, but I don't think so. This is probably the real thing. Let's find out. Slanje, cheers, skål. No, I don't think it is. Now I recognize some off flavors from the non-alcoholic beers. You have to do something in the processes, and you know, it's like if you've ever had gluten-free food, you eat it and you think it's not the real thing, but this is good for gluten-free food. It has the least pleasant aftertaste, I would say. Not really metallic, maybe, but something lingering that I don't appreciate as much as in the other 2. I do find a lot of berries, though. More so in this one than the others. But then I lack the caramelly notes. Not a lot of zest either. Yeah, comparing all 3 like this, I think number 2 is my least favorite here. If we now go back to number 3 again and compare, it has more depth. Now you have the milk chocolate, the caramel, almost butterscotch. It's like a very nice start, and then the roasted characters, the coffee-like flavors, comes in towards the end. And the aftertaste is much more pleasant. And number 1 again, it's also no real off flavors like in number 2. A bit more light, watery, not the same kind of nice milk chocolate body. There are some nice zesty notes as well, but they are more subdued. And then number 2, one more time. Number 2 must be the non-alcoholic, I think, because you get it feels almost like something artificial, because you usually don't find it in regular full alcohol beers. But let me taste these through a couple of more times and then I will come to a conclusion. Okay, this is so strange because I really enjoyed the non-alcoholic Guinness in my last video, and now the beer I think is the non-alcoholic I didn't enjoy at all, but I will stand by my latest guesses. I think number 3 is the regular Guinness, the 4.2% ABV. It's most full-bodied, it has most of that caramel notes and the milk chocolate. And then I think number 1 is the 3.5 version. It just has less of the full one. And then number 2 is the non-alcoholic. And it actually has some off flavors that I didn't notice in the same way in my latest video, if I'm right. So let's get the cans. The non-alcoholic was number 2. I was correct. And then this is the 3.5 one. Number 3. What? Do I like the Swedish version the best? And then number 1 is the 4.2. What? That is actually good news because this is easier to get hold of in Sweden and it's a bit cheaper as well, I think. Yeah, I like it the best. Wow. But of course I'm not a Guinness expert. Maybe it doesn't taste exactly as it should. I'm so surprised that it has more of, maybe it's because it's sweeter. You know, I have a beer sweet tooth. I do like number 1 as well, but I kind of miss the caramel and the more of the milk chocolate. But maybe it's not supposed to taste like that. It says on the can that the 3.5% ABV Guinness is brewed by Guinness in Dublin, so there you go. The 3.5% ABV Guinness is my favorite, and the non-alcoholic, unfortunately, is my least favorite. Check out that non-alcoholic beer video over here if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, drink responsibly!